Greetings and welcome once again to Roman of the Empire. I am your host, Roman. Tonight we are talking about the 2016 Netflix film Spectral. And for me, this was a first-time view and a very nice surprise. I didn't expect this movie to be as good as it was. Matt and Jacob had talked about the movie before, and they'd been wanting to do it. And I was like, okay. And then, it's got that Netflix banner on it. I'm like, oh, all right. And I watched it, and I was like, man, this is a really good movie. And then doing a little bit of digging, I'm like, that's why it is so good. So, with what in the fuck is going on over here?
What?
No, not you. No, my screen. I'm looking at my other screen, and it's like, it's being all fucking funky.
Gay?
I don't know why.
Roman, did you watch a mysterious Japanese videotape anytime in the last 7 days?
Yeah, right.
No, it's not doing that. It's not doing that. No, is it, all right, I gotta close this thing.
Are
and
there
try to make
ghosts
it
coming out of your screen?
It may be. That would explain a lot more.
Public service warning: do not watch mysterious Japanese videotapes at all.
Why are you not?
AARP ads hitting you?
Yeah.
No, it's maybe. No, I don't know where. I think the thing that makes it go full screen on my other. I'm having a moment, folks. Roman's having a moment.
Playing like 90s commercials.
Shouldn't be in no way shocking to anyone. But my full screen isn't going full screen. It's like almost full screen, but not quite full screen. Did they move it on me? Is it somewhere else now? No. Doesn't matter.
Not even 2 minutes.
Anyway.
Pay us the big bucks.
So Roman got confused immediately as the show began tonight. So that's something you can tell your friends about. Also, if you're watching over on X or YouTube, please let your friends know that we are on now so they can come join us and participate in the fun and usually my downfall at some point during the show.
I haven't seen it. I got X up, but I haven't seen it pop up as live yet over there.
Oh, that might have been the error that it was. No, I've got an error reading over on X. Let me try not to go live. Let me see if I can get it to go. Yeah, it's an error occurred on X. This usually is temporary. Wait a moment, then try again. Mother, dick, fuck,
sometimes
shit.
Sometimes it does take a minute.
Ass, eyes, cunt.
Echo.
I am too. He's screaming so loud.
Wow.
President Biden, special guest. President Biden.
See if it stops. So we are not apparently on X right now, which explains our number. And this is just going to drive people away in droves. That's fucking fantastic. Thank you, StreamYards. Thank you for fucking me right in the fucking eye, StreamYards. Thank you. Okay, so let's go around the horn, and then we will get this thing started. He is my partner on this channel. He is my wingman. He once stopped me from carpet bombing Moldova because why would anyone want to go to Moldova? He is Shieldwall of Dragons. Welcome, my friend. How are you?
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Well, the reason to go to Moldova is obviously for all the specters flying around there.
Accepted.
And the random junked cars in the streets. But yeah, this is an interesting movie. I'd never heard of it.
Bullet holes in buildings, that kind of thing.
Yep.
I mean,
never heard of it before. Probably because it was on Netflix. So
I'm fighting with X right now. God damn you!
I do actually bomb Moldova. You might have stopped the Spectral.
Right.
Maybe. I don't know. Those things are pretty resilient.
I think it's a great looking movie for like how it looks and the sets and everything, especially for its budget of $70 million.
Which is really incredible.
People are blowing $500 million on movies that look worse.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, yeah,
not like a little bit worse, like a lot worse.
A lot worse, yeah. That looked.
Yeah.
This looks better than most of the Marvel stuff that's come out in post Endgame. Frankly.
Or they're spending $500 million on something that is barely comparable. So, anyways, yeah, glad to be here. Excited to get into this.
Right on. He is the scourge of Gotham, the nemesis of the Dark Knight. He is Joker Voice. Welcome back, my friend. Nice to have you with us. So
sorry.
did you get
what?
some bad fit? Oh, no, you can't just no. The insomnia, not now, no narcolepsy.
Okay. Okay. Huh.
I keep telling X to go live, and it keeps not going live on X. Fuck. Anyway, so did you get some bad fish at Arkham? What's been going on? What where have you
No,
been? What's happened?
There's been no fish in Gotham of late. The tacos are always great on Saturday night because it's taco night at Arkham. But I hear the bread in the Moldova is really good, and that's the only reason to
Really
keep it around.
Ooh.
Yeah,
did not know that. I did not know. I was unaware of the Moldovan bakeries.
quite nice.
That's what I get. That's what I get for not really knowing that Moldova existed. Ducka. He is the meme master of the interwebs, using his power for good instead of evil. He is Jacob Ironside. Welcome back, my friend. How are you this week?
I'm good. I'm feeling a little finny.
That was
Yeah.
that's almost unforgivable. I don't even
Raw
know how to
sexual
respond to this.
magnetism.
Ooh.
It is. It practically
feel the
vibrates off the
power.
screen at you.
Yeah,
Lord.
I'm good. I've seen this movie a few times and I enjoy it. It's fun.
And by
Let's
the
get
way,
into this.
Mr. Jacob, congrats on the new digs.
Oh, excellent.
Oh yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, everybody.
It's got to be a load off your
Yeah,
mind.
that was
Yep,
great
just-
news.
Move just took the first big load over there today, so
Nice.
one
It's
step closer.
so it begins.
Wait, so you took a big load or dropped a big load?
Both.
Probably-
It was coming,
probably
and
a bit of
there's no
both,
way I
yeah.
could stop it. I saw it coming from afar.
Well, you got to test the plumbing out before you
Yeah.
make sure it works.
You know you missed this, Roman. You know you missed it.
Well,
Ah,
it's just we're down to just us now. Is the sad part.
No, Sammy's here still.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Mine are
Sammy's
just out
been
of reach,
drinking. So, ducka, and in the man in the middle, he moves with mystery. They say he comes and goes as he will. He is our favorite wizard of the interwebs. Back with us once again. He is Blair de Blair. How are you, my friend? And again, I love your background. Your office, your bunker with shelves and lights. It's beautiful.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to be here. Yeah, I saw this when it came out years ago, and I was really impressed by Netflix. And then I realized it was not a Netflix movie. They just bought
That's the thing, right?
it. Back when they were doing
Oh,
that.
But it's a Netflix original.
Yeah, right.
All right, let me try
Right.
X one more time. Please fucking start on X. Hey, we're live on X. All right. So, hello everyone on X. Yes, the show has already started. Please tell your friends that we're on. Come on over, hang out with us. Everything is very confused right now. Musician, pop culture aficionado, YouTube prostitute, man of the people. He is Sammy Threepeat with a fresh haircut, and he's back with us. How are you, my friend?
Good. This movie was a pleasant surprise. Dark turn at the end, but I mean,
I know. It was great. That was in the.
can't wait
was
to get into it. But yeah, I had a lot
Yeah.
of fun watching this today, and I will probably suggest it to other people. And now that it makes sense that it isn't a Netflix original, that
Despite
makes a lot more
what it
sense.
may say at the beginning,
Yeah.
yes, it is not.
Well, no, but remember, if Netflix didn't pick it up, it would have went nowhere. It would have been
Well,
banked.
no,
and,
that's true. I mean, if
Yeah,
distribution wise, but this was not meant for them. This
Right,
was
direct
meant
to
to go
video.
to the theaters.
No, but there's a whole
No,
bunch
this
of movies
was-
you could, like.
But well, I know, but that's why Netflix movies are usually Netflix movies. They are mediocre to okay to absolutely fucking horrible. That's what Netflix. This is well above par for something that has a stamp Netflix original on it. But Before we get too deep into this, he is the man who knows all the things about all the things. He is the Thad that shouldn't be, the unbearable 73, the ghost in the machine. Welcome back, my friend. It's good to see you. How are you?
I got a whole week without hospitalization. That's good.
Congratulations.
No death matches in the apartment this time. It's my birthday today. I've turned 7, so now I can join the Ninja Academy and
happy birthday, man.
Yeah, but you're too old to become a Jedi now.
Yeah, that's true. But being a Shinobi would be superior to be Jedi.
And too short to ride roller coasters.
Swing.
That's true. So this movie, I found this movie, and you'll recognize this guy. The main actor, Jacob, he was in The Pacific. Played Lecky.
Yeah, this dude was in a lot of stuff.
He was in a TV show that probably no one besides me had seen called Rubicon, which if you could find it.
Badge Dale is the actor.
Yeah, it's a political action sort of really good. I wish it had lasted longer, but if you're into that sort of deep sort of like spy craft stuff, he was in that. He was chased in the last 3 or 4 seasons of 24. He's been all over TV in other roles.
He was in The Departed.
The Departed.
13 hours.
Most recently, if you watch 1923, he played John Dutton Sr.
World War Z.
Yeah, World War Z.
Okay. He looks like the guy who gets his ear cut off in Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah, he was one of the many people killed off in the gray. Like he's been all over the place, and he was in 13 Hours, The Secret Soldiers of Benghazi. Yeah. You guys remember that? So, which came out the same year as this movie.
Yeah, there were 2 actors who were in that. So there was Dale, who was our main character, Klein, in this film, and then they have him listed as Captain Sessions in the credit, but he has Major Sessions in the movie. So Major Sessions in the film is Max Martini, which is a fun name to say. Also was in 13 Hours. So you got this. It's interesting. This is you don't necessarily know a lot of their names, but you know a lot in cast.
Yeah. Bruce Greenwood was the general. You guys,
Bruce Greenwood, not a small name. Bruce Greenwood has been in a lot of things. I mean, we were just talking about his role as Captain Pike in the new Star Trek films, literally being the best part of the new Star Trek films. But Bruce Greenwood is a very seasoned actor who has been in. Yeah. What was that? What was that one, Matt? Matt? Who? What?
iRobot.
Yeah, he was in iRobot too.
Was he in iRobot? I haven't seen iRobot in a very long time, so I don't.
You should go read the original material. You should not see the movie. You should read the original material.
And then the other actor, Stephen Root, who played Dr. Mandela in this. He's the actor. He's the guy in the beginning of the movie. We'll see him in a minute. But he's the guy from The Office as the stapler dude, Milton. And then, but he was the judge on Justified. He's one of those actors, again, who has been in 9 bazillion things.
Yeah, he's in Dodgeball.
He's done some voice
the blind radio. Yeah. He was the blind radio guy on Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
He's done some voice acting.
Again,
he's in a bunch of stuff.
This cast is
he's all over the place.
It's good, but this was supposed to be a Universal film. That's, like I said, it didn't make it to theaters. These things happen, but the production on this is just very good.
I kind of have a question about that. How many movies do you think are out there that got made but never shown?
Thousands.
Like, on a shelf somewhere waiting for somebody to
they eventually come out like on a on a streaming service 6 years later.
My entire porn career.
Yeah, that's true.
I know you.
And I'm not talking that get the Batgirl treatment where they just burn all the copies of it because it's so bad.
Oh yeah.
But I know a lot of movies get in production trouble, and they were like, "Hey, we were going to make Conan in 1972, and it took us till 1982 to actually get it made."
Or it goes on the shelf for years and years and years until finally.
And it ends up. And then
I mean, how many people attempted Dune?
Right.
How
many people have seen Russian Dune?
Is it any good?
Well, it's better.
No.
People are going to kill me for saying this. The more and more I watch Denis Villeneuve's Dune, the more and more I'll say that the original versions are better than it. So,
Okay, so wait, you're talking about the 1984 version is better than the new ones.
It is a far more faithful adaptation than what Denis Villeneuve.
Oh, okay,
but
okay.
Because of the second part, the first part he made changes, but I was like okay with them. The second part, he basically flushed the entire plot of the novel, that was the important part of it, down the toilet bowl.
All right.
So they didn't have anything.
But we're not talking about Dune tonight because I am not a big fan of Dune. So let's say hi to our chats, and then we will get this thing moving. Our good friend Boosh McFadden, hello, sir, and welcome.
Whoosh.
Nice to have you
Whoosh.
out there.
Whoosh.
File 13, welcome to the show. He does a great Team America Terrorist. Which dude are we talking about? The Stephen Root? I have to ask questions. I'm not sure because there's so many freaking. My brain gets confused, and we whatever we're covering. Oh, really? Really? We're gonna drop one of those, man.
All about the breadsticks, baby.
That wasn't meant to make me feel good.
As far as the subpart food, the Olive Garden, the breadsticks are one of the least worst things there.
Oh yeah,
Welcome,
Roman. I ate it. I ate Olive Garden a couple nights ago.
You actually went. You actually did it. Oh Lord! Welcome.
No, I didn't go.
Welcome.
One of my aunts
Got
loves
it.
the Olive
It was
Garden,
brought home.
and we realized it because she oversalts her food so much it tastes like salt.
That is just strange.
A lot
Frank
of the relatives
Yankee,
call it the Olive Garden
welcome.
the Salt Garden.
When is it going to be a reboot of Firefly? Probably never. What? God,
Probably not.
Jacob.
They are working on a reboot of
This kind
Firefly.
of shit is going to get you fired,
It's-
Jacob.
stuck
So
in
that
pre-production.
is our friends in the chat tonight. Again, let your friends know that we are on and that we are out there. We are fighting like 17 different shows in this time slot now. So if they could make a little time for us.
Oh,
we would
Roman,
definitely
I
appreciate
hear
it.
something. Is that
Wait, what
music
could
I
it-
hear?
What could it possibly be? It's
Heavenly shades of memes are falling. It's in time.
welcome back to Meme Time with Jacob. Always does a fantastic job.
I love that intro.
Yeah, I don't
It
know
is,
how
it-
you got Michael Bublé, but yeah, that
Right?
was,
It was expensive.
Wait, is someone under those masks, Jacob? Because I don't know.
No.
It'd literally
Okay,
be.
thank God.
There could be.
But,
Again, look at this shot though, man.
yeah, look at how good the props look. The gun props,
Yeah.
they look cool. It
It
looks like
doesn't
something
look
out
like
of
a
a video game.
repackaged something.
Right.
Mr. Freeze has the exact same thing. It's fine.
But the look at the uniforms they have on, right? The suits, the base age suits, they look good. They don't look cheap. They're not bought from Party City or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, and they look. I mean, a lot of the things actually have practical application, or at least the implied
Yes.
practical application,
Right.
which is nice. It's not just for sake of. So yeah, the props in this, the costuming in this, they
I thought
did
had
a
good
nice
military
job.
advisors too.
Yeah, and so my complaints about this movie, which I'm going to have, and they're limited. They're all military based, which is not shocking. But a lot of it, and you'll see it when it comes. It's like that's not what we do. I don't know what the fuck that is. That's a fucking MiG-21. We'll get there. So. It's Blair.
Sorry about the dog.
So they want to start using this weapon that they create on live animals, which is kind of horrible. But Steve, did this character is funny though when he's about to say, "You were in the defense industry. What do you think we're gonna
Yeah.
do? You know,
Yeah, that always
use
gets
harsh
me.
What do you
language."
expect?
When scientists are like recruited to invent stuff and they're like, "Oh, I didn't know it'd be turned into a weapon." It's like, dude, that's
Stop.
the first thing
What are you
people are
talking
gonna
about?
do
That's
with
the
this.
primary thing they're gonna
Duh.
do with it.
We're the United States. It's what we do is blow shit up.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Healthcare don't need that. We want laser.
Lasers.
what a fucking fish with a laser on it, a shark. Anyway,
Yeah, sharks with lasers on their
Sharks
brain.
with
Again,
freaking lasers.
Roma. How? How is it?
wow, wow.
Probably the most
you
accurate
talking
meme
about?
ever.
Oh, mother dick! Fork, damn it! It's when the gun is malfunctioning.
That's basically
It's perfect.
But that's Roman doing a stream too. So
That
it
was the
worked.
beginning of the show. I
Right.
still haven't fixed part of my problem. I still have part of a problem over here, but at least most of it's fixed.
That's what
Man, look at that hair.
to go
That's
back
good.
to the VOD, and then while you're flipping out, then just put this up there and be like, this was actually Roman doing a reenactment of the movie.
Man, that's good, Jacob. No, not Pippin.
No.
Yeah. Sometimes. Not Pippin. Although, quite honestly, sometimes Pippin's such an asshole to be like, let's test that water boiling weapon on Pippin. It's Pippin! Oh my god! Oh, that's fantastic!
Even the Spectre plane, they have to go out and poop.
Oh, that's. I don't even know how you clean that up. It kills you on touch.
Yeah, that's me. That's accurate.
Stupid.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Daily.
That's nice.
God damn, Roman. Roman's a
Woo.
badass.
Looking good. I don't
Like
that-
the
I wonder
perm.
how much that thing weighed, because he's got a harness on it too, though, to help him support it from his torso.
Yeah.
But it looked
I
like it
think-
was heavy as.
I think
Fucking
behind
yeah.
him he has like a car battery powering it, so that's part of why you needed the
Lord.
harness as well.
Yeah, that thing's heavy.
Because like for a minute he had a helper guy toting this car battery.
Yeah.
around. Yeah.
His poop is a ghost. The ghost of the kibbles and bits. Oh, Lord.
Mine truly was a hard Scrabble existence.
That's just tough. That's a tough one. Come on, what are you doing, little guy?
I look.
Show him. I got you, buddy.
It was me in Vegas.
Yeah. Amateurs.
I don't know. I was batting some solid numbers.
Oh, Lord.
Is that Sammy Thunberg?
Sammy Thunberg.
How dare you?
Have you? Yeah, Greta's not. She's looking pretty rough these days. Maybe it's all
Their
the
little
time.
yacht got bombed too.
Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible. That's funny, Boosh. Well played. I'm just an angry kid, Bruce Greenwood.
Roman in his standard pose.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. If you put a Navy uniform on me, it's not a lot different than that. But you mean wait, I know.
Wow! Whoa!
I'm naked. That's great, Jacob. Oh my god. Wow. I've never looked so good spectral. Nice, and that is the closer. That was good, Jacob. Well done, as always, my friend. It's a highlight, folks. It's a highlight.
You can all leave now. The best part of the show's over.
Yeah, don't leave. Don't leave. For God's sake, don't leave. You're all I
Listen
have.
to the insane clown.
So thanks for the folks over on YouTube and X. And again, there goes. Okay, it'll do that. So yeah, again, let your friends know that we are on over on X and on YouTube. Come hang out with us, and we are about to dive into Spectral.
So how many? Just really quick. How many was this a first watch? Because this was the first watch for me.
Yeah,
It was for me
definitely
too.
for
I
me.
never heard of it.
Yeah,
I
me as
literally
well.
got
No.
done with it.
Yeah, I've
like
seen it before.
now,
Seen it 4 years ago.
apparently there's a dark twist at the end. Was that during the credits? Because that's when I stopped. Because I literally stopped watching the film. Like,
Oh, is there a
half an hour.
post-credit scene? Because I did too.
No. So the dark twist is the nightmare fuel is the ending.
Okay. Well,
Yeah. Don't talk about it yet. Don't talk about it. Wait, what? If I had friends, would I be accepted? Accepted. That's why we're here, Frank. That's why we're here. So we drop into a battle in Moldova, and again, the shots in this movie are where is it?
Go for the bread. The bread is great there.
Oh, go for the bread, stay for the war.
I stay for the
So
board.
this was most of this movie
Nice.
was filmed in Budapest, Hungary, and it looks like it was filmed in Budapest, Hungary.
The sauce is
but
great there.
it looks great. Everything in this movie looks good. It's the shots are well done. The scenery is just it's awesome. I was just very pleased with this. Why is that always right there? Is that always so big?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
For those of you who didn't have high school geography in the modern education, Moldova is kind of north of Romania, bordering the Black Sea, so south of like Ukraine and Russia and all that.
Is that close to Dr. Doom's lair?
His country is in that area. Yes,
Yeah.
Lutervi is in that area.
So this is a Delta Force operator who has been separated from his unit. Is where? Oh, really? I wonder. Do they have hats
Yes.
there? That's the question. And so he's on the run from the bad guys. And one of my few complaints about this is they talk about an insurgency, and you never really see the insurgents. And they're are they fully necessary? No, but it would have been nice to actually have some other bad guys in the mix, because it would have complicated the situation, which would have been kind of cool.
Right.
So you don't see it. He's on the
we gotta
run.
go over
and
the
you don't
goggles
really-
real quick.
Oh, so have we? So
They have
he's
these
gonna
like
drop them down here.
advanced goggles
Yes.
that it like shows the trail of people that have gone by, so they can track people. And
And
it's
so
this-
they're. I mean, the
this
title of the movie
goggles
is Spectral.
that pick up the spectrals.
Yeah. So they see different ranges of the visible spectrum of light. Sorry, I had to put those words together in my head, and it took a second, folks. I'm very old, sir.
By the way, it's not necessarily intuitive until you watch it a couple of times, but the power output producing the spectrals is steadily increasing throughout the film. Not everyone catches that on the first watch through.
So he's making his way down. He's just trying to get away from the bad guys, but then he runs into his body, and the body, if you look at it, looks weird. Something clearly unnatural happened here.
Yeah,
And I like
it's
it
been
because
flash frozen.
they don't just give it to you. You have to you're like,
Yeah.
wow, that's peculiar.
And when we get to it, I like how the scientific explanation is reasonably plausible. I mean, this
I forgot. And when we get there,
I'll do more detail
really,
later when we get there. I don't want to,
Yes.
jump ahead.
I'm really irritated that this is not letting me go full screen, and I don't know why. Matt, do you know why?
What are you viewing it in?
I don't fucking know.
Are you
The same thing
using
I
the
always
normal-
am, though. No, it's
Well, hit
always here, but it's not.
Well, hit that full screen button. What happens?
What full screen button?
Up by the X.
This?
Yeah. Isn't that your window button?
Oh, and thank you, Matt, for once again proving that, yes, my friends, Roman is retarded and he needs a little help, just like that Corky from Life Goes On. So thank
That's
you.
a pretty long name for a new segment.
Also,
I don't know how we're going to work that into a song.
for
Roman's
those watching the
retarded.
still,
He's like that kid named Corky.
when you watch the actual movie on a backlit monitor of some sort, it looks brighter than it appears on the stills Roman showing.
Mm,
There's more contrast.
okay, got it. So he's like in a back room now, and then he sees this fucking thing pop up, and we don't really necessarily get it the first time through. And he's like, kind of, what the fuck? And he's talking to Delta Force, because he's on audio all the time with the Delta Force, or with
Yeah, and
I don't know what command he's attached to here. But whomever it is, he's talking to his home base. And they're like, "Are you seeing this?" And they're like, "Yeah, what the fuck is that?" And he raises his goggles up and he can't see it. And so it's gone. But as soon as he drops them back down, and you can't see it.
The director and the visual effects guys, so this was made about 9 years ago now, right? 2016. At that time, a lot of the ghost watching with this sort of like only see with a camera, all that was very popular in social media and all that. So they're kind of playing off that visualization when they could produce, like how the audience would see this.
And this is cool. The thing just rushes at him, goes through him, and he's dead. But his goggles are still running, and you can see the critter on the goggles. And it's neat. It's because there's like no fuss, no muss. This thing touches you, you're fucking dead.
Because it's so cold. You like instantly freeze.
Yes.
And now we meet our main character here. This is Klein. And you just a dude rummaging a Netflix original film. Not true. It is a Universal film that Netflix bought because Universal put it on a shelf. It's collecting dust and it smelled bad. But he's looking. He's kind of going through a junkyard. We don't know why. We don't really give a fuck. And Bruce Greenwood. He finds what he's looking for. It's a printer cartridge, in case you're curious. And he grabs a little who's it, wraps it up, and then he's on his way back.
That, by the way, is a true thing he did. A lot of engineers and experimenters go to like techno garbage to find old stuff they don't make anymore to get materials that are hard to get now.
Yeah, that's how we. It seems that way. Sometimes that's how you have to get parts for airplanes.
No, you and I. Yeah, you just read my mind, dude. So,
yeah, it's like, where can I get this part they don't make anymore from like 1962? The good news is that it hasn't gone bad since 1962. So,
but you just got to find it.
You just got to find it.
Yeah,
right.
we had a part
if you wanted
on,
to get somebody to make a new one for you, it's like $500 million or something because they got to retool and do all this stuff. Yeah,
there was on the H60 there was a bolt you have to change on a 365-day inspection, and for some reason they became impossible to find. This is kind of circa 2014, 2016, but they were part of a kit. So if you ordered the kit, you could get the bolt. You didn't necessarily need the rest of the kit, but you always needed the bolt. So it's like you need to order a whole bunch of these fucking kits. It's not a dissimilar kind of thing. So DARPA is Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency. This is actually a real thing.
They created the internet.
They did create the internet. And they come up with clever and new weapons for...
in fact, Al Gore founded
special
DARPA
warfare. What was that, Matt?
In fact, Al Gore founded DARPA. Did you know that?
To the Al Gore joke.
No, I hate
But
Al Gore so much.
okay, serious thing about DARPA though. DARPA came into existence, right? There was an entity agency called ARPA, without the D, and they were doing the same exact thing as DARPA, right? Well, ARPA started getting involved in some really weird research, like psychedelic drugs and psychics and stuff like that. And at some point, like it was like 1970 or so, or maybe it was around the year I was born. So it's wait a minute, we need an agency. We can't have our like premier techno research agency. We go testify to Congress like, were you giving 17-year-olds LSD and letting them experiment with electricity on frogs? Like they wanted to get the weird shit out of the actual. So they made DARPA and transferred all the serious stuff to that.
So first of all, no one on this stream is a boomer. We're not quite that old. We're mostly Gen Xers, which is the only cool generation ever to exist. So
yeah, technically,
you're responsible for your modern world.
Technically, you're a boomer if you were the last year you could be born and still be a boomer is 1965. So
and none of us are quite there.
Quite there.
None of us are quite there. So the dude asked him, "Hey, so where were you?" And he went out and he's like, "Hey, I was finding whatever unobtainium that is hard to get now and is very expensive, but used to be very common in this old printer cartridge. Wait, what? Okay, so Gen Z and Gen X got. I don't know what a TikTok is. So, so they're testing out their weapon. Get everything lined up. This is cool though. Look, I mean, this looks like some kind of fucking sciencey thing. Turn it on. Wham bam, the ice explodes, becomes nothing. And the room of clever and important men from the DOD are like, have you tested it on live animal tissue? And they're like, what? Wait, what?
Yeah, we can try that. Can I have a moment?
Yeah, that's it. He's like, well, whatever you want. Why not? They're like, yeah, do it. And this is what he's like. I don't care if you test it on a side of beef. It's funny. I mean, this is the only time you see this actor in the film. Again, this is Stephen Root, who you've seen in a 9 gazillion other things. He's kind of his boss.
Get my stapler?
Yes, that's where you originally saw him. And he is nothing like that in anything else he plays, except for maybe Dodgeball.
He's giving him the speech of, I didn't sign for this. And then he's like, it's the Department of Defense. What do you think we were going to do with it?
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
Duh.
Well,
because
in
the United States, a good defense means a good offense.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, also, if you invent something and then it can like boil water or freeze it as a beam at range, I mean, what do you think people are going to do with it?
Yeah, we're going to kill people with it because that's kind of our thing. And he's like, hey, the Delta Force guys over in Moldova, which is a fucking stupid place, except for their bread, which I hear is delightful, are having an issue with the goggles. They pick something up. They won't tell me what it is, but they want you to come take a look at it. And he's like, all right, I'll go.
Because he hears the bread is good.
He hears the bread is good. All right, so C-130. I think that's C-130. Now here's where I start having questions, and I get Air Force transport at this point. I'm fine with.
Yeah, this makes total sense.
This works. This part works. Then we land though, and there is not one United States aircraft on the fucking deck here. These are MiG-21s. I don't know why they're in this movie as part of
because they're part of the Moldovan government that
Moldova
are
the
they?
Soviet Republic.
Yeah.
All right.
They're
I'll
on
accept it as such.
They're on their base. It's like a joint base kind of thing. Here's the thing that's not realistic. The amount of people that come off of this C-130 and it's not, and the seats aren't rigged correctly. If you had that many people on there, there'd be stanchions down the middle with seats on both sides, right? Or they would have floor loaded them all, and you just had to sit on the floor because that. Okay, the initial number that come off is fine, but later more and more people start coming out of there. Yeah, that's not realistic.
No, where the fuck were all these guys sitting?
You could fit that many on there, but the seats aren't
not in that configuration.
Right.
It's DARPA. That's an experimental target.
Yeah,
you know that?
The other thing is there's a pallet on the floor and a bunch of boxes right under the engines. So what happened is they either pulled in and then they dropped all that crap right underneath it. And what they did is they cluttered the scene to make it look cool. But you would never drive a plane with propeller engines over that stuff. And then there's a fuel truck right here and a bunch of other stuff, and there's people milling around. You wouldn't.
No, it is cluttered as fuck.
Yeah, they would have all got out of there first.
So here's where we see Bruce Greenwood, who is General. What the fuck is General Orland? Is his name? 1-star general. He is in charge of the Delta Force. I don't know if this is a joint operation, but it doesn't seem to be. It seems to be just a Delta Force operation because you don't see anybody else. You don't see Air Force, Navy, Spec Ops guys. He's like, you guys,
so
want to invent this
Shieldwall,
fucking
what you're
thing?
saying, what you're saying is the when I was a kid and I set my Lego military dudes up, it was wrong. It was too cluttered.
Yes.
Well, look at where this plays.
No, this
Okay.
is a hot fucking mess. No,
Look at all
this
these
doesn't-
Yeah,
planes.
that's so weird.
You couldn't.
Well,
This
how
thing
did it
couldn't
pull
attack
there?
you. Now, the C-130, because of its props, it can back up, but you would never back it this close to all this stuff. These jets here,
Yeah.
they're not any kind of logical parking formation. Like, it's just a mess. It's just a bunch of crap with some dudes.
No, aircraft don't park like this.
Nope.
They just don't.
And that's
Also,
just
again, these
like
are,
the only way
This
to
is
do
just
it
one of the
is-
shots to make everybody who's not a military person think this is a
Right.
military.
Oh,
It,
See the
only way to
military?
park like
All
this
there.
is if this was an air show. And people
Yeah.
An air show or
Sparkles, welcome. Nice
Hello.
to have you with us. Thank you for
So like
being here.
non-military people, like the military people are freaking out. Like, we're getting a rundown here of the air wing placement and the troop number, and most people are like, don't know what the hell we're talking about.
And this is this isn't a U.S. base, obviously. They're operating out of a Moldovan space, clearly, because it looks like a fucking castle.
Cool.
And General Orland's kind of going over, yeah, they got civil unrest that we're fucking used to, but then something weird kind of happened. It's a movie. Let's move on. I know, Bush. I know. Here's the problem. You got a bunch of old military guys on the panel. You're going to get military analysis because that's just what fucking happens.
Yeah, and we want it. Would that
If they made a movie about if Joker watches what's that fucking Tom Cruise bartender movie?
Cocktail?
Cocktails.
Yeah, we're going to get analysis.
Probably not.
So they plug in the goggles from the dude who
because
got.
Tom Cruise can do no wrong.
You only pour a drink a certain way, I guess. So
Every way Tom Cruise does anything is always the right way.
So now they're watching footage from. This isn't the guy that we saw at the beginning of the movie. This is other stuff that they were spotting. And if you look in the right in the middle of the frame, you see a kind of a hazy spectral form, and that's Klein goes in on that immediately. He's like, "What the fuck is that?" So I thought it was interference. He's like, "No, that's not interference."
there it is.
And there it is.
Spectral.
And here is hot CIA agent.
Peekaboo.
And she's played. So this is Emily Mortimer. Again, a very fun name, Mortimer. Who is Fran Madsen? We just know her as CIA lady in the movie. That we don't actually care what her name is.
She's
I
in
thought
one of
she
the
looked
Scream
like,
movies.
I thought she
She was
looked
in,
like J.K. Rowling to me. It's like, where's the next Harry Potter book?
Right? Or you got a lot of questions. You got a lot of questions, my friend. How old are you? Because there's a lot of questions. And she's basically in charge of kind of picking spots where the Delta Force is going to go in and do their operations. And he's signing an NDR, which is not uncommon when you're dealing with anything. Now they're going to a skiv. If you've ever, I've been in one of these before, so I knew what it was immediately. I was like, oh, that's this freaking skiff. And this is where you do very sensitive operations, remote stuff.
That's how they did it back then. Now it just all be on signal. We don't bother this shit anymore.
Yeah. So you could send it directly to the Washington Post.
Well,
Exactly.
that's the thing.
Get your friends on a group chat and tell them how you're going to bomb a certain place.
And so now this is the image from the goggles from the dude who got killed, though. I don't know why that was more sensitive than the other one, but whatever, it's fine. It gets to show the skiff and that they actually kind of know what they're talking about. So we see a repeat of what we saw in the beginning of the movie, and then we see the body of the dude and the thing right over him. And he's like, so what is it? He's like, well, send me the data. He's like, whoa, oh, fuck, no. Because they haven't sent this to back to Washington or anything. Because they don't know what it is, and they don't want to look like a bunch of assholes.
Yeah, they want answers from him before they talk
They
up
act
the
like
chain.
And
You
now they're
know what
sharing
this
that
is,
bodies
right?
have been popping up. All
Oh
over
yeah,
the
there's
place
clearly blah blah blah
that are
It's just,
frozen.
And the inside burned on the outside.
It's just crazy.
Mr. Freeze.
And so there, she thinks this is advanced camouflage, which on its surface sounds fucking stupid. I didn't even know why that's a theory.
Yeah.
And
a
Klein's
woman.
like, are you
Camouflage the
fucking
kill.
dumb? He's like, we can't do that. And she's like, well, maybe someone else developed it. Here's the story for normies out there. If we haven't developed it, no one else has it.
Well, I don't want to I don't
It's
want
a
to
stretch
shock you, Roman,
because she thinks, oh,
the people of Japan
it's
being
advanced.
inspired by video games and such are developing like Metal Gear stealth suits and crazy stuff like that. I mean, like whether it ever work or not, these are people who literally build Gundams, workable Gundams in their country. So it's like,
yeah.
Lord. So this is the a better version of what their helmet cams are essentially. So it can give them a better, more clear image of what the hell that blurry image is. She always has she's got heavy fucking resting bitch face.
It's one that you can mount on a vehicle, so it's big.
Yeah,
you can see more.
These vehicles are cool.
They're Czechoslovakian.
Yeah. These are APCs made for the Czech Republic.
It's an assault vehicle.
But these are really cool. So these are not ours. These are crazy Czech.
I like
vehicles.
Eastern
Look at this
European
thing, man.
military equipment because it looks just weird enough.
Yes.
To look, sci-fi-ish and stuff, but it's
Right.
real,
Yeah, this looks like it could if this movie wasn't like, you could say this was set on another planet, or like kind of like how the equipment they had in the Avatar movies and stuff kind of fit into this. It's like a hard science, retro, futuristic Soviet era stuff.
Yeah. Which is nice because they actually did use real stuff in this, not green screen the hell of everything and CGI
and since they're in Eastern Europe, they can just go get a whole bunch of old crap and just throw it in the background and make it look cool.
Because it's cheap.
Yes.
True.
Yeah.
They're like, although they probably have to take a Geiger counter to all of it. And make sure it's not radioactive or something.
Making sure it's safe for the actors. Yeah.
No, I'm not going near that question right now, but thank you for asking. So these guys are kind of pissed that they're taking their 50 cal off the vehicle and mounting the crazy camera on instead. So they're giving them kind of a hard time. But then their captain shows up. He's like, hey, I'm sure we all want to give Captain Klein as much support as we can. He's the one who designed these vehicles. He didn't actually, but for the sake of the movie. He made all the modifications. He's the one who gave you your goggles. He's the one that put this delightful little sack around your balls so they don't get blown off.
Yeah, he really goes for it and touches that guy's wiener.
He does. Well, that's the way it is.
He grabbed
there
it
he is
right
right
there.
now, doing the nut grab. Doing the nut grab.
Yeah, securities are. Feel that?
Just making sure you're wearing it.
Then the Major shows up. This is Max Martini as Major Sessions, their boss. So both Klein, James Badge Dale, the lead in this movie, and Major Sessions, Max Martini, were both in 13 Hours. As SEAL team, former CIA operators.
And Martine was also in a cool TV show called The Unit.
Oh, really? I can see that. Yeah,
it's a good show too.
So again, he comes off very believable as a military guy. The entire cast does a really nice job at this.
Yeah, most of them do.
And he is a geek in this one, the lead actor, but normally he plays a spec ops guy or something.
He's an operator.
Yeah.
So they're just kind of drinking and having a conversation about, all right, Ragnar, have a good night. Thanks for dropping by.
Night.
Night.
She's getting pressure.
Night.
And then, everybody's getting pressure to try to find out what's going on.
Yes. What in the fuck is going on? We're not boomers. We're still not boomers. Just again relaying that. So again, thank you to everyone hanging out with us over on YouTube and on X tonight, since that decided to finally come up and work for us. Yeah, this dude's like, yeah, as soon as I saw you two on the manifest to be embedded with us, I knew everything was fucked. So now they're getting the briefing on where they're going to be going. Right. They had part of one of their other teams get stuck in the city. It's a heavy insurgent area, although, again, we never really see insurgents in this movie, which kind of sucks. And then the CIA girl tells them their theory. Yeah, we're working on the theory of this as an advanced camouflage. And then the dude's like, she's like, you want to add something? He's like, oh, whatever, fuck, give them the bad information, whatever you want.
He's already absorbing details, like his brain's working on something, you know.
So she tells them they want to try to capture whatever the camouflage is.
Yeah, don't kill.
Of course, because they want to study it and make their own version.
Yes, which is what everyone does, right? So they're all piled in the vehicles. This looks good. This reminded me a bit of the scene in Aliens. There are parts of this movie that remind me of that movie, where they're in here, you know, watching the helmet cams, which is very reminiscent. Again, look at this is a nice shot. And yes, I know there are digital overlays here that make it look like this, but this looks cool.
Yeah.
I also
like Ukraine.
Yeah. I also I don't know if Delta operates in this large of groups normally with this many people.
No, there are too many dudes on this op. Yeah. And what we're going to see soon, I want to talk about because it's another one of the military things that I have a problem with.
If you watch Black Hawk Down, there weren't very many.
No, you don't have that many special operators in general.
No,
right.
So
the main body of troops they used in Black Hawk Down were Rangers, which are not considered at all.
No, they just had some Delta guys in with them.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I like the formations here. I do like the tightness of it. It looks good. The way they move is very solid. So they found one of their other team members dead. No one's got bullet holes in him though. That's an odd thing. Look at this fucking crazy head thing on the wall. This is fantastic. This is actually inside of a casino. Where is it? The Constantina Casino location in Romania.
And I want to point out a few details that the people who did this paid. You don't necessarily notice, you don't think about it, but I was going to have to reveal on the creatures a little later, but we know that iron stops them for some reason, right? So what's in those walls? Iron and steel rebar. What is lining the armor of the truck? There's iron chunks in there, basically. So if you notice, the creatures never cleanly walk through most walls or the vehicles. You have to go through wooden doors, open passageways, that sort of thing. So they were paying attention to that when they did design the creature and their effects. They didn't just run like they to what the limitations would be on them if they were real. As we see later.
No, they gave them parameters, which was good.
Yeah.
And so something is under the bathtub because they're picking up movement on their goggles.
For you young folks, that's a cast iron bathtub. For you young folks out there.
Well, they call it a ceramic.
Not suffocate.
The ceramic was something else they can't get through.
Yeah, ceramic and iron. Why do I hear pinging?
That's because that's the someone's playing the aliens.
Is that the alien thing?
Yeah, motion sensor, which to me is one of the best thematic devices in almost any movie you could ever come up with.
Oh, absolutely.
Except maybe the only other thing I could think of would be a lightsaber going off.
Some ceramics, by the way, have metal materials in them.
It is a lot, so yeah, it's like there are a lot of similarities to Aliens. It's not a rip-off of Aliens. I'm not going to call it that, but they do have a couple of plot devices which are similar. This dude who's been trapped under the tub for 3 days, they're like, where's the rest of your team? He's like, oh, they're dead. we're all dead. He's like, they couldn't get into the tub, but I could feel it out there.
So this guy, his name is I think Ryan Robinson, something like that.
Mhm.
The tub guy. He was in Stargate Atlantis. He was in the new Battlestar Galactica show. He's been in a bunch of sci-fi stuff.
Who was he on Galactica, or was he just on Galactica?
Yeah, he's been in a bunch of stuff.
It's got
Yeah. I
The
don't remember if I
sci-fi
don't like the show, but
The Man of Tapping he was on, where they were catching other monsters.
Yeah.
Sanctuary.
Yeah. Sanctuary. Yeah.
So look at this. They come up and they're on the floor now. I do like that they go back and forth between the goggles, what they're seeing, the enhanced version, and then what we see.
Is
It's
Sammy
cool.
asleep?
It's a nice contrast.
No,
I think Sammy's asleep.
I'm not.
Already?
No,
Sammy!
he's here.
I heard
He's here,
snoring.
what?
What? Somebody was snoring.
Somebody breathing.
Sammy never sleeps.
Wide awake. I'm just watching.
That's right.
I'm awake. I'm awake. That's me to my wife at 10:30 at night after 17 beers on the third episode of Mad Men. So all the guys upstairs are dead, and then you got, I don't remember this cat's name, but he goes to the room and then they start picking it up. They're like, hey, it's right in the middle there, and he thinks it's a smear on his goggles because everybody has to have an explanation for it.
That was the dumbest
And then-
explanation, though.
He lets loose with a round of
He's a smear on my goggles.
fire and right through him. That's the scariest thing about
And the
this.
trope. The trope. And the trope of killing the black guy first.
Well, he wasn't. No, they killed a white guy first. On this team, they killed the black guy first.
One thing I like that the
but you
director.
can't fight this thing. It touches you and you're fucking dead. You can't see it. You can't stop.
It's so stupid. This is kind of stupid. The CIA lady's like, oh, did he miss? He's Delta. No, he didn't miss.
Yeah, he's like he doesn't miss. So, and this is the part but the Klein is like, dude, get your guys fucking out of there. It's almost like Ripley telling Lieutenant Dumbfuck to get the guys out of the alien hive. And they don't, they're waiting on it. But this thing is going through their men like they're fucking butter, and everybody's dropping like flies. Dead, 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 fucking dead. Get them the fuck out of there. Dead, dead. They threw a grenade.
Yeah,
Fuck it.
people
Now
were
he's telling
dropping
them to
like
get out of there.
flies in this movie.
So this is what this is unrealistic. You just killed off like Delta Force, like all of it. There are, I don't even know how many fucking guys are in this building. There's like 20 some odd guys in this building, maybe more, and they're just dying.
And one thing I like that the director did with this film is he ramped up to this level of violence and calmed it down again, and ramped up. Like he didn't just, it wasn't all like spectral action from here on out, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So they do a couple things in this movie again, military-wise.
The thing that would have been accurate is if they embedded these guys, some Delta, in with, say, the Army Delta, the Army.
No,
Rangers,
if you were using
or
if you
something
had
like that.
Delta dudes leading a team, but this is just all, as far as we know, this is all Delta. That's the way it was sold to us.
Yeah.
I got the impression they were going for that this was a U.S. Special Forces insertion to train the local army type of thing, and they got involved because of all these spectral killings going on.
Right.
Basically.
But it's just too many guys. It's way too many guys of the spec ops nature to be on an op. It doesn't. This doesn't.
Well,
matter.
if this many special ops guys were being killed, there will be like Marine divisions being sent there. Like it wouldn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
This is a lot of money to be lost to have that many.
Oh my God, yeah. And what I do like, so they know the difference between repelling and fast roping, because it's not the same thing. This dude is repelling, and they don't use this. They do both things, and which I was very happy about. I know, and again, it's minor military detail stuff, but getting stuff right is important. Now they're all trying to pile back into the vehicles. The fucking gun isn't the gun. The camera isn't focusing where he wants it to. And again, in the meantime, fucking the critters are just killing people again, running, die. And then it drops down right in front of him. And he gets this. It just looks right at him. And he's like, man, that's not cool. So, yeah, he runs out there with, what is that? Does anybody, Shield, do you know what that is specifically?
It looks like an AT-4. It's just an anti-tank.
Toe.
Okay.
Yeah.
It makes a big fucking boom, but
the AT-4 is a disposable throwaway rocket.
Okay.
And it's something like it. It might be like an Eastern European version of one or something.
A dressed up version of it.
Right.
Well, they make a big explosion and the fucking thing comes right out of it and kills the captain.
There's a thing that the Brits invented. They were using a bunch of them in the beginning of the conflict in Ukraine, where that's how they were getting so many tank kills. I can't remember what it's called though. But that one actually can like track and stuff, I think.
So they get moving again, which is cool.
Get the hell out of here.
He's like, and they're like, hey, what happened to the captain? He's like, hey, he's kind of fucking dead. Then they hit a fucking mine. And this is, quite honestly, this is the most insurgent shit that we see in this movie.
I was going to say, insurgency.
Because this is supposed to
There's
be an
a lot
insurgent
of dead
stronghold.
insurgent.
We
I'm
don't,
sure
we,
they're all-
we don't see any though.
Well, they're dead.
They're probably all dead.
I guess they're dead,
Yeah,
but we
they
don't
could
see
all-
bodies of them piled everywhere either.
Well,
All those
ghost
bodies
guns.
that they were showing.
Those were their guys. All those bodies were
No, those
their
were
guys.
on the ground
The
floor.
civilians.
On the ground floor, there were a bunch of dead guys. A bunch of dead guys and civilians. Then up higher were the Delta dudes.
Oh, all right.
Don't you
I
love it
still
how
don't
this
like
guy
it.
survives 3 days in her bathtub just to get killed in a car crash?
I know that
Yeah,
sucks.
right. I should have stayed in the
Fuck my luck,
bathtub.
man.
My biggest problem with the flipping vehicles that weigh that much with a landmine, those vehicles would be way more destroyed than they are. Their tires would be gone.
Yeah, all blown out and shit.
Yeah, all blown out. Especially why it blew up between the two of them.
Be a
Unless
crater
it's-
in the ground too.
Right. Yeah, it put a giant crater, and it had to have been command detonated or something because it would have hit the first one first or the second one, but it blew up in between.
Did you see
Anyway,
my question? Well, I didn't. Can you, Frank? So I don't have to scroll back 9,000 rolls. Ask again so I can see what it says, please.
Yeah. But I mean, I get it.
I don't see a lot of things, Frank. You're gonna have to forgive me. I'm old and I miss a lot of shit.
But yeah, that concussion blast alone would have probably killed them all in there if it flipped those vehicles.
And
because they're so heavy.
if we look careful, we can see this ring, this line that this one dude trips over and fucks himself up into, and you can see it here as well. It's like a river
Yeah.
of black.
I did like that. That
Yep,
it just
it's
didn't
smart.
pop out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And they're trying to regroup. She took a big knock on the head, so she probably has a concussion.
Yep, her eyes are all big.
And then there's this guy who just happens. What's his name? I don't even remember what this cat's name is. But he was the comms dude for the other team, and he was separated from them, so he doesn't know what. He has no idea what the fuck's going on.
He was the Asian guy was in one of the Bourne movies, and something else we've seen him in. What was the Predator film with all the criminals?
Oh, Predators.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he was the what the hell is the Asian the Japanese mob called?
Yakuza?
Yakuza. He was the Yakuza dude.
The guy that had the cool fight with the Predator. He was that guy. Yeah.
But yeah, so he has no idea. He's like, was this the insurgents? And they're all like, fuck you, the insurgents. He's like, I have no idea what's going on. And I'm like, yeah, we can fucking tell. So they're all like, man, we seem kind of fucked here. Looking around. And he's trying to he's like, well, let's mount the camera. Let's see what we're looking at. And they see the critters. And then you see that black line. and they're trying to cross it and they can't. They keep getting stuck.
Where's the
stuck.
dog? Where'd the
Yeah,
dog go? There's no dog there.
Now,
Oh,
you'll notice
is there a Firefly reboot coming? Not that I've heard of.
there is a there is someone trying. There are people trying to work on a Firefly reboot, but if it happens,
Well,
all
that's.
over the
I mean,
years.
that's such a vague
Yeah.
thing. There's always someone trying to do something.
Yeah.
Until I see something.
So
Until I
the
haven't-
Upward
I've seen-
Spirits, it's one of those things where Whedon's got to get money for it, you know. So.
Oh, yeah. Well, what's his fuck is busy now, Nathan Fillion. I mean, unless they want to use like a new cast and shit.
It'd be a total
I-
reboot of the show.
That
I
would-
don't see it happening because I don't see there being a lot of desire for it.
Yeah.
Remember, they don't make good shows anymore.
That cast as well was lightning in a bottle. The way they all
Yeah.
came, they just
Yeah, it was.
the way
Yeah.
they
Had
interact
they-
with each other was so good.
Had they been able to take that to a streaming thing right after it got canceled, then maybe it would have lasted a few seasons. But now, no, that momentum's gone.
Right,
Uh-huh.
right, exactly.
And no one's
Yeah,
asking
so-
for it, because we know
True.
it's
I
going
mean,
to
the
be crap
fans
if
love
they redo it.
Firefly, but I
Wait, it's Frank Haley's asking for it. It's got to be
Well,
done.
people were asking.
I don't want a
for
reboot
it
of anything.
after the show.
Yeah,
They wanted
after
it
the
to come
show.
back, right? But after what is it, 20 years now or whatever?
And then they made a movie.
Yeah, a
Yeah,
long fucking
and-
time.
At least they got the
Yeah.
movie to kind of tie it up, which was good. But
I like
yeah,
the
now
movie.
it's too late to
I
time
love
has
the movie.
passed. And most
Better than
shows
they did with
suck
Deadpool
now.
or Deadwood.
Yeah.
So this dude's like, hey, I fell in that shit outside. I got a piece stuck in my fucking hand. And they're like, oh, it's a metal shaving. It's an iron shaving. And so they're looking at it like, oh, that's odd. Because they can see this. Obviously, with their bare eyes, they can see that shit coming up. They know they're trying to cross it.
So I had questions. How
They're
thick
like,
of
there's people here.
does it have
So-
to be?
Here's the issue, okay? Remember I said that there are more and more of them coming, so to speak. The whole effect is powering up. So these things, he's going to give the engineers an explanation. Basically, there's a projected electromagnetic field that's keeping the material they come from at I think it's almost absolute zero for that condensate to still remain whole. And what that metal fillings are doing is grounding it, right? And the more you ground it, the more energy drain off that electromagnetic field, then they start to fall apart, right? So if you do the complete drain, that boson concentrate, the material would just burst and be gone. If you don't do a complete drain, the energy field will eventually power them back up, as you see later in the film.
Yep.
So they're using shotgun blasts. Would that affect them at all?
It has to be enough metal. You have to produce a grounding
Yeah.
effect, basically. If
Yeah.
you just throw a metal ball at someone, it's not going to ground anything.
Right. It
Yeah,
has
there's
to be-
definitely an amount.
the metal has to touch the actual ground.
Gotcha.
Now, the other way, which they do utilize in the film, the soldiers, if you heat something enough with enough explosive, it'll literally melt the condensate. But that's almost absolute zero. You got to counter. So you're talking
Right.
crazy, like what do they call the fuel air explosive level temperatures?
Right.
know,
yeah.
Or if you burst it far enough apart, the electromagnetic
Plasma.
field falls off with distance. Inverse
A
square
plasma
law.
blast. Something
You
like
know,
that.
yeah.
Like a big enough explosion would theoretically bust them up too.
And again, thank you to everybody who's hanging out with us over on YouTube and on X. Let your friends know that we are here. So this is the newt scene from Alien. They find a little girl and her brother.
Except
Um,
she tried to blast him with an AK through the door.
She did try to kill them with an
Yeah.
AK. That was, yeah. Well, what are you gonna do? She's like, where did this come? Is there any more people here? Are there any more guns? What the fuck? And it turned their father is the one that brought them there for protection, and he's the one that put the iron shaving, the iron shavings around the building because he knew it would stop the presence, the beings.
They have a name for them. They call them Akami or something like that. Akamai
Oh,
or
yeah, they have. I forget what they. It's a local term, for what
war
it is.
spirit, war spirits or something. Yeah.
Yes.
Now,
So they're trying to contact the base, and and he's like, "Well, everybody's going to be able to hear us. The insurgents are going to know where we are." And the dude's like, "Insurgents are the least of our problems," and he's actually right because we never fucking see one insurgent.
now here's an interesting sort of mythological tie-in for you, right? You'll remember Life Force, the aliens came and they were vulnerable to iron.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So creatures from this world, like historically in our world, supernatural creatures from this part of the world are vulnerable to iron. Like that's their like general weakness, right?
Yeah, like fairies and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, fairies aren't from the world, but yeah, you're right in concept, right? So I love how the director sort of made the science fiction creature like parallel the supernatural sort of, and we all when directors do that sort of stuff, I really enjoy it. And I always wondered, like, so there was supposed to be sequels to this, what they never did, and obviously, we know the ending of it, the nightmare fuel cosmic horror story of it. And my question would have been like, well, were they trying to make artificial ghosts? Like, what would the sequels have been involved, right? Like, because the sequel wasn't going to be just about the spectrals. It was going to be this guy stopping super science and stuff like that. Horror shows,
like Fringe.
So as I said in the chat, if these beings were to go to a carnival, they would avoid the Ferris wheel.
Jeez.
as bad a joke as that is true, because that would ground them because it's rotating around.
What about magnetic fields? Would that affect them in any way?
Well, they're an electromagnetic field containing the condensate, right? Oh. So if you had another electromagnetic field to drain energy off of it,
there you go.
It's been a long time since I did this, like college physics. So I'm not going to go crazy here. But like if you when you impose two electromagnetic fields, you basically superimpose and you add up their value. And one could have, say, a negative voltage versus a positive, and lower it's that type of effect. Basically, you drain the energy off or cancel it out.
So this is the kid's dad. He's dead. He died while he was setting up that barrier. The little girl brought him up there. Her brother doesn't know.
But basically, the ideal defense against the other creature will be what's called a fairy cage.
There are some inconsistencies. How did the little girl drag her father up there?
These are good questions.
Slowly.
Yeah. So this is Mazarov. It's a location. It's a power plant. That's not too far.
Sammy, that was great.
I don't know what the kids' name are. They have like funny names. They're fucking Eastern European names, so they're probably fucking stupid.
It's Borscht and Mamushka.
No, the kid's name is the boy's name is Bogdan.
Yeah, we know that because he died.
I'm sorry. Because they yell it at him like 100 times.
Well, yeah, while he's running. So they need to get. They got choppers coming in. But they're where their landing zone is, and I'm gonna. This is another. I don't know why they weren't able to land them like on the roof or closer. I don't know. But they're not. They're landing them in a zone about 5 miles away. Plot
device is the number one answer.
The plot needs to happen.
So this is where Klein is like, "Hey, we know that the metal shavings stopped them. Why don't we make some fucking weapons?" And then we get the first one by what Mrs. the Empire calls the A-team scene, where they just start making shit, and this goes on for a little bit.
Yeah, MacGyver.
Yeah, the MacGyver scene, the A-team scene. It's the we're gonna the montage of them making a bunch of shit. By the way,
if you're wondering why they don't just embed those in their clothes or whatever, the creatures don't actually have to touch them to kill them. Just get close enough to drain off their body temperature due to being colder than hot, so to speak. Like proximity. You know what I mean? How like if you put your hand outside your fridge when the door's open, your hand getting cold, you go inside it.
And plus iron shavings itch.
What about making ceramic armor?
Well, as we found, because we didn't know that.
They kind of do that later, though.
Yeah,
and also they don't. I mean, there's nothing here that they could do that with. At least not that we're aware of. So Klein's like, "Hey, I can turn this thing into a spotlight if I do some reverse engineering.
Reverse the
that.
polarity, because that's always the answer.
Yes. So he takes it apart. He's working on it, montage,
Across the
montage.
streams, too.
And he's telling the engineers back at base how to do the same thing so they can mount them on the other vehicles.
And boy, howdy. Do they.
So boom, he's got a spotlight so he can shine
And
it
this-
on the critters.
This is your second ramp up, and so you had to just downtime to the last action. The director did a nice job getting you along with the characters, and boom, here it goes.
So they're shining it, and then they can see them all appearing. And now there's a lot more of them, it seems. Yes.
Yes,
Than there were. They're actually
They fly now?
they're
They
making
fly
these big jumps across
They
to
fly
the
now.
power
They do.
spots. It's pretty neat. I mean,
Yeah, and you can tell some of those were women too.
Yeah.
women's. Where are the spectral women's?
They had boobies. Some had
I
boobies.
saw her spectral babwas.
Just for Boosh, they're for Boosh.
Right.
So running through the street, and then
We make
they've
it just
configured it
wrong.
so they can fire their improvised
Yeah, they're glass
Devices.
jars.
Glass jars.
with, yeah,
Break
to
right
spread
there.
the metal
Oh, crap.
the iron shavings, and he gets they get stuck. So the intended effect does happen, but the problem is they have to spot him with the spotlight to make this work, and they have to kind of hit before they get there. So it's a tough gig. A lot of running, a lot of these guys. I mean, there was this movie when things are moving, they're fucking moving fast.
Yeah, they're also they give off these shrieks like a banshee as they're chasing them.
All spooky and scary.
So this is the landing zone for where the helicopters are supposed to be picking them up. The camera now spotlight thing has died off. So he's like, "Yeah, we're fucking blind."
Not for long.
Game over, man. Game over.
Game over, man. Game over.
All of a sudden, they
And
can
then-
start seeing them. They can't understand why, but then the tanks roll in with giant spotlights. on them.
Jesus, that's a big spotlight.
So tanks are rolling in. They're supposed to be clearing the area so that the helicopters can come in. I think they were expecting insurgents, which we don't have, but we do have. Yeah, look at the side. Yeah, this is like a heavy spotlight with the ghost light on it and showing that they're fucking everywhere, and they're pissed. Now these guys don't understand that regular artillery is going to do nothing. They don't know that yet. So they're shooting at the building, which is doing nothing but causing rubble and debris to fall on our
Yeah,
our
I was
little
kind
group
of
of
like,
heroes.
what are they doing? They're more dangerous to these people, to their own people doing that.
Yes.
Yeah, well, they don't know. This should wipe out the threat. It doesn't.
It doesn't, and like I said, all it does is cause shit to fall down on the guys. And the critters are now bouncing right over them
And
to
they're
get to
mad.
the tanks and the men. And again, they take out everything they come into. They kill the whole squad, essentially. Everything that's on the ground, aside from our folks, get killed off. And they can't get.
I like how
through the
they-
tank.
I like how they recognized, oh, they can see us. I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
And the movie had balls right here.
To
Balls.
kill a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what's the kid's name?
Bogdan.
Gargamel.
Ogden.
Gargamel.
It doesn't really fucking matter.
Toe tag. That's his name. Toe tag.
His name is Damien. The Spectral just saved the Earth.
So he runs out to collect his little that little ceramic thing from his dad. He had dropped it, and then he gets killed. Everybody's sad. Lots of running, lots of ghosts, and here comes the helicopter. This is where I'm going to have one of my. So this is it's marked as U.S. Air Force. But if it's Delta, I don't know why you need the Air Force to come pick you up and you don't have a Black Hawk coming in to collect you instead. I mean, if it's joint operation, fine. But again, I never got the impression this was joint operation. The C-130 in the beginning being Air Force made sense. This doesn't.
I got the impression they were pulling resources because, as we find out now, they're being overrun. And
Yeah, this is
So
like
it's-
the last whatever they could send,
I
send.
guess, but I didn't get like I said, the only people that we knew were in the area was Delta. It's because remember, this is not a full-on fucking battle of the United States versus. This is we are helping manage this situation using CIA and Delta Force assets.
Most of the Air Force helicopters, unless they're for like flying generals around and stuff, which are very rare. Most of the Air Force helicopters are special operations ones that got like special boxes and radar. And
I've actually seen those. Their version of the 60 is fucking insane.
Right. So
they are nuts. This
if
is
they
like,
were going to
like I
see
said,
an Air Force helicopter, getting with Delta might be the most reasonable place you'd find it.
Now I have a writing sort of, I don't want to say complaint about this sequence, but like this guy right here is the most important human being on the planet right now. Okay. So, and you would think the Spanish people would know that and get him to that damn helicopter. You know, just pick him up and drag him. Like, no, they do a little bit of that, but not enough. Like they help him up and whatever, but like he should have been dragged. As soon as he fell, they said he wanted to drag him into the copter. Even though hesitate because he don't have any idea what's going on. You know,
I did like the he recognized that the rotor wash would spread.
Yep.
He talks about that too, how they're still bound by the laws. There's laws. They still have to.
Yes.
Right. But he
Some
throws
things they can violate, some things they
that.
can't.
Yeah.
It blows all the shards into him.
Yeah.
And his brain is always working, like pulling the data in, coming up with a better and better idea, you know.
So
and
this
can't
is
fly either. So
for those of you who are not aware of it, this is very similar to the Navy model. I don't know what like I said, it has Air Force painted on it. I don't know why. This is similar to the Navy H-60 Sierra, and that I can tell that by the position of the tail landing gear, which I know sounds stupid, but it's true. Nerd. One of the things they do in this scene, though, is they talk in the helicopter. One of the guys puts on headphones. They're yelling back and forth. There is no fucking way they are going to hear each other, not even a little bit. Nope. I've ridden in these helicopters with just regular regular hearing protection, and you can't aside because it's so fucking loud in the cabin. You have to, unless you are wearing something with a mic and you're plugged in, you can't fucking hear anything. But again, that's a minor nitpick, and they do that a lot in movies when people are traveling in aircraft that are not soundproof, or it's you're not hearing it. So they can't go. What the conversation was, they can't go back to base because it's overrun. So they got to go to fucking.
And you saw the little
whatever this is
scene back there. All the little blue lights are going off around the town. All these specters are attacking everywhere.
Yeah, killing everything.
What's up, hi, Adam?
Hey, my man.
Hey, Adam.
Hello, Adam. Welcome.
Hello,
Adam. Have you seen Spectral? Would you like to? So again, these are.
Your
these are actual.
In this movie.
One of the
Adam Gray.
What I like.
You're represented in this movie.
These are real helicopters. Those were real tanks. These are not digital renderings. These are actual fucking things.
Yeah.
So
that's cool.
Real, practical. I'd say effects, but these are real fucking assets. So they probably did get some military support for this. We'll get to the Osprey. That's another thing I didn't quite understand. So they show up here. I don't know if these are Moldovan insurgent or regular. Because they're shouting at each other and
these are just regular
pointing guns.
They're citizens.
Okay. And they're like, and the lady speaks Moldovan, which is basically fucking Russian, because that's what everybody speaks in the region. And she's like, hey, we're here to help. And so they let him in, and this is a shelter for it's a civilian shelter, oddly enough, that they're all hanging out in. They're now regrouping, get some water, get some fucking food, figure out what we have available to us, and let's regroup. And the guy, I like the way that the major just rattles it off. He's like, you do this, you do this.
And processing something, realizing more and more how much the crap at night hits the fan and can't really hit the fan. You know.
So Newt has some shrapnel. I don't care. Oh, and this is where she's like, she's like, you need to tell me more. You were kind of holding back. Her dad worked at Moldova.
Calmed you down, let you get back into the character moment for a little bit.
Yeah, so her dad worked at the power plant.
Now, the interesting thing since we're getting to the end
where
of
everything started.
And why is this as nightmare? One of the reasons is nightmare fuel. In theory, so long as that base has energy, and to the distance that electromagnetic field could be projected, everything in Europe and Asia is going to die.
Yeah, well, that's the scary thing. And so the general, so they get a knock on the door here.
Broke, so let me come back in.
And the general pops up again. What happened?
Yeah, that's cool, Matt. I'll be watching for you.
Oh, Matt, wait, what? Help?
His audio or something went.
Oh, Matt's gone.
Yeah, he'll be back.
Oh, God damn it! So General Orland shows up and he's like, "Yeah, the fucking base. There were 200 people on the base. There are 19 of us here that got out." Now this is another mildly confusing point to me. In Shieldwall, I got nothing. These are Osprey. This is a primarily Marine Corps aircraft that the Navy also has adopted.
Yeah, the Air Force has some
new-ish. Do you guys use them too? Okay.
Yeah, but only for special operations. Again, like I'm saying, most of the helicopter assets in the Air Force are used for special operations.
So what you're saying is the Army would not be doing this.
Well, they don't have.
I don't know that the Army has Osprey at all. The Army has a pretty limited Air Force.
They have a whole bunch of helicopters, but not.
They got a bunch of helicopters and they got the A-10s. But as far as other assets go, not really. Maybe troop transport shit, or they just dump that on the Air Force. That's probably the way it usually goes.
Given where Moldova is, what flashed through my brain was that there was one or more of those marine supply ships. I forgot what they're called. In the
littoral landing craft
in the Black Sea.
Yeah.
And well, here's the problem with that though, Matt. In 2016,
get
when
another
this movie was made, they didn't have Osprey that were actually landing on those ships. They're still they did exist, but they didn't get rid of the Harriers until a little bit later. So and again, I know this is a movie and the Osprey looks cooler and it has different mission capabilities. But they weren't really using it's a movie, so like I
said, these Ospreys would have been there with whatever Marine contingent it is, if they're on a carrier or land base, and they're flying out to those Marine ships.
So we're having to make a lot of leaps at this point, though. We're having to, because what I think they want you to believe is that they were stationed at that base at Moldova and that they came out. Now, like I said, if it's a joint operations base, fine, I can get it. But I didn't get that impression because you just can't have a lot of assets thrown together here.
Those prepackaged packages, so to speak, that they're dropping so fast, those are going to come off of what do they call it? Shieldwall. Like when those ships
C-17 or something.
Yeah, when those ships are let's say the Marine supply vessel floats into a bay or whatever, they have like hundreds of those ready to go. So as the Marines or whoever else deploys, then they get dropped in behind them, prepackaged weapons, food.
Well, if you notice, while those are landing, big crates are coming down on parachutes. The only way that happens is they would come out of
roll it out of
a C-17 or a C-5.
Roman, you should do an entire series based on military anachronisms.
Yeah, things that are not right. Yeah,
we'll get on here and a couple of military people, and we'll just nitpick the hell out of all of it.
Yeah, and again, like I said, my nitpicks of this movie are minor. It's just the military stuff, and it's not my fault, guys. I can't help it. It gets under my skin when they don't do it right. Yeah. And it's not that hard, frankly, to fix these problems that are in this movie. They're pretty minor. But for a military dude, it's just like, okay, that's fine. You just have to kind of accept it. So he's now explaining he understands what they are, or at least to a degree what they are.
In theory.
In theory. He's like, well, what can they do? What do they do? You die on touch. They can pass through things. They get stopped by metal. And all the things they're describing was, what is it called, Matt? Is Matt back? Matt's back. The Bose-Einstein condensate.
that is a state of matter that was proposed, it has been proven to exist. That's I forgot the exact temperature, but it's like right above absolute zero. Einstein based it on the works of another physicist called Bose, so that's what's called a Bose-Einstein condensate. And back in 1929, maybe he proposed it. And then I want to say they proved it existed within the last 20 years.
So it's an actual. I mean, again, this movie does a nice job kind of putting its foot in reality, though. Because it has certain laws that it must adhere to. He's thinking we can stop it.
We just got to figure out the laws.
We need to. Yeah, he's like, we need to learn what they are because that's going to be our only hope. But they are stuck with laws. So he wants to make this enhanced plasma weapon, which should disrupt the condensate. So they're going through like basically. He's like, how are we going to do this? He's like, well, let's figure out what we got, and I'll build you an arsenal. Again, this is the A-Team scene part 2.
Dun, 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 dun.
We need a montage. And then they got their the big robot dog. It's fun. They're mounting the camera to that instead of whatever the hell's normally on it.
And again, the super scientist guy has realized that the world is screwed if they don't stop this now.
Yeah, they'll keep going and going and
they
going.
They are spreading.
Yeah. I mean, that's option after this is a nuclear bomb. That's how dangerous this is.
And Matt, now would that even aside from taking out the site, which is actually probably what they should have done.
The EMP maybe might do it.
No. Well, the EMP was disruptive, but the real fact is you're blowing the power source apart. So there's no more power to project the field.
And the second thing is they don't bleed. I thought of ideas.
The temperature in the fireball, which would be near ground zero, would obliterate the ones that exist. But the important thing is taking out the power source.
Right. So if they just nuke the base or the
power plant.
the power plant, that would have solved the problem.
Plus, as we find out later on, that it is a weakness, is that all the control is centralized in there as well.
Yeah. So they find out this power plant has been refitted and refitted.
They have their radios out. The radio is out though.
Yeah, I like.
They have no communication. That's why they can't call in an airstrike.
Well, the other thing
that's
is,
right.
As soon as they lost comms with their headquarters, somebody would have been over there already trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
Pretty quick. But yeah, I get it. And the time's limited and all this. I'm not saying it would be instant, but if they hung out for like a day or two, somebody would come see what was happening.
No, someone from Germany would be hopping over.
Right. Yeah, they'd have been like, "Hey, what's going on?"
Well, the danger thing is that
I think they would all be dead in 2 days.
But the danger points are that they would not use a powerful enough explosive to take out the power source. That's a hardened bunker that they're attacking. That's not just like a regular flimsy building. And
well, again, though, if you nuke it, it's going to kill. It's not going to exist.
But they're not going to know they need to nuke it unless just this guy here would realize the problem.
Right.
Exactly. If I were a smart scientist guy, I would have said, "We just need to drop a nuke on this fucking site, man."
Do you remember as bad as the last time?
Nuke it from orbit.
Do you remember the Indonesian scientist?
It's the only way.
She was like kill it, burn it down.
She was Indonesian.
Yeah. And she was like, just blow it all up, burn it all. And they didn't listen,
Yeah. She was right. Are you guys hearing a static noise?
Yeah, it was kind of was. That's gone now.
Okay.
So
they're all putting on their super suits here.
I did like the base, the power plant.
Oh yeah.
It looked cool. It looked hardened, like really cool.
Yeah, it looked like it's a serious weapons research.
Well, quite honestly, every set in this looks good. This bunker that they're all hanging out in looks like a fucking bunker. That is, it's uncomfortable. It's not clean. It's not just some fancy fucking thing underground. It is what they have available to them. It's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is the general's kind of 300 speech. It's like, what I like what he says. He's like, when you get on the ground, you're going to see things that you do not understand. But almost no one ever gets to be the guy that changes the course of history, and that's what we're going to do today. It's good. It's good. Good Starfleet Admiral speech. So then out they go to the Osprey.
Which looks really cool. Everybody running in the back, taking off on them. They look really cool, all flying in formation.
And the takeoff looks good. I mean, I think that this is probably CGI stuff here. Unless they were able to convince them to let them fly,
Well, I mean, it's a burnt out city in Eastern Europe. What else do they have to do? Is it?
No, they may have. It's possible. The guys, hey, you guys want to be in a movie? All right, let's clean the aircraft off, make them look good.
The director's like, hey, President of Moldova, do you have a burnt out city we can use to film in? Yes, we have many of those on the coast.
So this, I mean, this is 2016, actually 2014 effects though. So if it is CGI, it's pretty good. So what they're going to do now is called fast roping. This is different than rappelling because you're not attached to a belay. You are just sliding down the rope onto the deck or whatever your landing area is. That's why gloves are important. Otherwise, you got no skin. We do this in helicopters when we're doing spec op inserts onto other ships or wherever we're going to put the guys. Again, look at this. It looks good, man.
I bet they're
even
really
robot
glad
dog
of those
good.
protectors in their groin when they're going down the rope.
So you can see at the end of the landing area, the big glowing mass of bullshit already forming up. And this is neat because you're looking at this tech, you don't understand it. I don't understand it. It's a plasma gun that fucking
battery pack
Frankenstein built.
Yeah, you kind of don't really need to understand it.
You don't need to understand it.
Cool, and it's going to blow.
Right, exactly.
Okay, so basically, the plasma is attacking in two ways. One, plasma is a form of matter that is a gas that can conduct electricity. So he's trying to attack the electromagnetic field with it, which you'll see. The other is that it's a high temperature, so he's trying to disperse the cold. So there's two-pronged attack.
So thanks to everyone hanging out with us over on YouTube and X. Very much appreciate you guys tonight.
Now, the interesting thing here is, and I mean, I don't know, this is a writing hole to me. They have access to tons of those iron fillings, and having copters or whatever, just lay them down up there.
They could have made a perimeter of that stuff to put a barrier between them and the monsters. Yeah. Yes, but
kids dropped it on them like
in imminent danger. And,
I know.
Charging.
This is a cool bit here. Where he puts on his gear and like click.
Yep, the practicality suit. Because this thing puts off like I don't know why the birds are hanging out because this is the test run. And I did think this was smart. They didn't drop all their guys at once. They dropped one team in to see if the fucking thing worked. Smart. So, hi, my name is Larry. I'll be your tour guide today. Fuck you, Larry.
I love that.
And they let out this. Go, yeah.
Everything just like it explodes around him. The force of it,
Yeah, look at that. It's fucking cool.
What did you think of the robot dog things?
I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, they have those. Yeah, we've seen them before.
They're just not. They're not used in any,
that way
in any practical way yet.
I thought they just had the lights on their backs, right? The illumination lights were on them. It's the purpose of the dogs,
right?
Mostly, yeah.
Yeah.
So they are saying yes, the plasma gun is a fucking success, and now the other teams do a fast rope down to their respective sites. But like I said, from a tactical standpoint, that's actually really fucking smart. You don't just deploy all your guys hoping the fucking thing works, because then everybody dies if it doesn't. I mean, everybody may die anyway, but immediately.
And their goal with these guys is their goal is to draw off all the spectral so the other guys get in.
Yeah, they're the distraction so that Doc Klein and his guys can figure out where the fuck is the power source of this thing and how do we kill it? So they are repelling, and there's a big difference. That's where they're using the belay on their belts and dropping down. Carabiners and all that. So they got a little bugger down there with them. And then the team gets separated. It's Doc Klein and CIA lady, and then the Delta Force dudes are kind of on their own.
They can't seem to get a shot off on it thing. It keeps moving too fast for them.
It's it's quick. So these things are still killing dudes. It's not like, this is an absolute victory. And he's like, hey, how close are you? The big mechanical door, nice. Where is it? Behind this big fucking door, I imagine. So she puts on some CIA fucking MacGuffin that can open the door, pops all the locks on it, and they're in. Now now they're in the lab though. This is cool.
Yeah, this
is where they start seeing these things, and you're like, holy fuck. They're like giant slides.
Yeah. Or they're studying slivers of them.
Well, they're assembling them. That's a 3D printer.
Yeah.
Not this bit. This is where they're like.
Yeah, this is just the. So this is the.
That's a 3D printer.
So they're making these things with this advanced 3D printer.
No. The whole room is a 3D printer. That's what I'm saying.
Oh! They're taking from.
It's an assembly line. Remember that Soviet mentality of assembly line technology?
Yeah, they're using humans as the
template.
Yeah, so that's why they look like people, because they couldn't figure out why does it look like a person. Well, so they're scanning people and then making their forms based on.
The way I understood it is the human who got their nervous system ripped out to be a CPU, like every one of them gets copies of them made, so to speak, so that their CPU can control their both. And
here they all are.
Whatever body. Yeah.
So they're not a mistake. They are a weapon.
And you can see how she's sad. Like, so those people are still alive and thinking in that brain, basically.
In theory, yes.
Which is probably they're all pissed off. So they've had some breaches of the containment unit, obviously, which is where the ones that are out there came from. And this is it. So she's wounded and she's down, and it's almost a little tragic.
This is when you started throwing iron filings at him.
Yeah, that's what why didn't you guys bring any of that shit? So he was trying to do something. He's like, this guy was trying to shut it down, but they don't quite understand how. So they boot up the machine, and again, the magic of translation. She figures out, okay, we need to unhook all this shit, and it'll disconnect.
That's convenient.
Yeah, and it's just right here for us to read. And it shuts down the MacGuffin machine. And you gotta pull the big switch, the big fucking switch on the MacGuffin machine.
And I love what this guy does here. He starts cobbling them all together for a big ass.
What he's got to do is basically turn off the power so that the projected field turns off, so all the ones are just already dispersed, basically.
But this is Major. What's his name? Major Sessions is the guy. Doing the daisy chain on the fucking guns. So Klein's just doing the disconnect that CIA lady said to do.
Don't you love how if you have a disconnect feature, it's so awkwardly placed that you're.
It's not easy to do. It's not easy to do.
You see right there. Yeah. Right there by the console power, so you can just click them off.
Like a big covered button.
If I just press this, it would actually do it. No, we can't use.
Why can't there just be a big red button?
Take the little tool and do each one by hand.
You have to individually, disconnect each of these lines and then pull the big fucking switch. So the ghosty thingies are kind of swarming up there while Doc Klein's down here slowly disconnecting thing by thing.
Again,
the way he was acting with that tool, I kept thinking I was expecting him to drop it.
That's what I was thinking too. I'm like, that motherfucker's gonna drop it.
Yep.
Fucking monkey boy.
That is called subverted expectations. And that's done. And it's
Look at that.
done.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the one big one. 7.
Yeah, all powering the big gun. So Klein's down there. He's the things are still coming at
No,
him.
that's a boomstick.
Yeah, that's a boomstick. And then
Look
it
at
lets
that,
loose.
baby.
He gets
Woohoo!
thrown back like 30 fucking feet. You got this big cloud of ugliness, but it does break out all the other critters.
I'm not sure there would be that
And-
much recoil though from that type of.
No,
fire.
no, you remember you got to have
probably not.
something visible in a movie though.
Yeah.
So now he's pulling on the big
Hollywood.
fucking switch, and then he pulls it and he falls. And this is neat because what I liked about this is it wasn't just a big immediate off switch. It was slow. It made them kind of slow and stop in their tracks, and then they started to dissolve.
Well, yeah.
It was good. It wasn't just like boom, they were gone.
And his
Yeah.
spine's shattered now.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's like, I took kind of a 20-foot fall onto a metal fucking floor. It's
Well,
fine.
luckily he landed
He's
in a
going to be
1-inch puddle.
fine.
Well, he has
Well,
a camel
but
pump in the
wouldn't
back
the,
with water.
but-
So
But wouldn't
He's got
the
a camel
That's
back.
that,
That's
did
what
it?
was, yeah.
but wouldn't the major with the big boomstick have a separated shoulder at that point from that?
Probably.
well, he'd probably be irradiated and cooked and
Okay.
So they're just watching these things slowly dissolve around them. Here's the thing. This is another thing that I probably would have done. His back broke his fall. I wouldn't be hanging out just watching this shit in slow motion.
No.
I'd be like, let's get the fuck away from this. It seems to be slowing down. It's me.
Well, I think you're supposed, as it's slowing down, you can like they're seeing the facial expressions of the people who were victimized.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think that's the effect they were going for.
and now
Yeah,
the
well,
nightmare fuel kicks in.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
neat
They all
thing
look
is
like they
you
went to
think
Olive
that's the
Garden.
fucking end, and it's not. It gets much worse. They weren't just scanning people.
This
They
is
were-
this right here is
Oh.
probably my favorite part of the movie.
Each
Yeah.
each
Yeah.
person is now a CPU for their
Yeah,
Yep.
spectral
For their
form.
avatars,
Right.
their spectral avatars.
and
Yep.
like, are they suspended in some kind of like jello or gelatin? Is what it looks like. You know,
It's like a
Yeah.
Well,
gas.
that would be
That's what it looks like.
that liquid would be basically the what's the name of the fluid that's in your body. The-
right? Well, there's like IV bags of stuff
Right.
hanging up.
Well, they got to feed the
That's
nerves.
the guy.
Yeah.
And he is alive with quotes around it. He's like, my
Look at the look
God.
on his face. Perfect acting expression.
Yes. Yeah, when he realizes exactly what
Yeah.
the fuck horror show this is.
And they can tell they're in pain because the readout is showing that there's a lot of activity.
Yep,
Skipped over.
that's
No wonder
pain.
they're pissed.
Right.
And
Yeah.
here's what I thought was going to happen here didn't happen. Because as soon as he starts disconnecting, I thought she was going to stop him and say, "Whoa, we need to preserve this."
She tries.
so that we
makes a
can-
little speech.
Yeah,
And then
that's right.
yeah, but it's obvious that that's a weapon that never needs to be made. Because of
Is that Sammy?
it's one thing. I thought Sammy
What?
was. You just talked a minute ago.
Yeah.
That's
I'm a little stuffy.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Everyone thinks you're snoring. It's that one time. One time.
One time.
Well,
Yeah.
the nightmare fuel of this though is more than just this movie. It's
Oh.
like look what we do in the world today. That somewhere out there, someone might have watched this movie and is trying to duplicate that bullshit.
Man, that's a good fucking idea. I think we can rip the nervous system out of people
Yeah.
and have them have a Bose
Let's find
Einstein condensate avatar that can kill anything on touch. That's a good fucking idea, Ralph.
I
We
wouldn't-
need to work on this shit.
I wouldn't put it past technology.
I
within
need
15
funding.
years. 15 years.
So again, nice shot with the helicopter landing. I think those people are too fucking close. That's fine, but it's still a good shot. Everybody's hopping out. This is the hero's welcome, so to speak. They're all deaf now because they weren't wearing any hearing protection in the helicopter. So all they can hear right now is. And so he's like, "What's going to happen?" She's like, "Well, they're gonna reverse engineer it, and then they're gonna fight for the rights to it." And she's right.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a sour ending after a fashion because you know that's what they're going to fucking do. And these guys are just gearing up to go back out, which is crazy. They wouldn't be allowed to do this, frankly. They would be.
I don't know.
No, because they
You
got to
ever
get a full debrief. They got a lot they have to do. Because remember, they just saved the world. They are not going to be allowed to go back out into combat yet because they're going to have to tell some fucking CIA dude everything that happened. Each one of them individually. Yep, all the bullshit debrief. It ain't shiny and bright, but it's something that is going to fucking happen.
And so if people forget, it was the insurgents backed by outside powers that were making the Spectrals.
The funny line from the I told you leave Moldova without unpacking your bags. Wait. He's like, wait, what? What? What'd you say? What? No, it's true. You know that's what's going to happen. There's Newt. Bye, Newt. And then he gets back on the Osprey to fly to fucking who knows where, and that's the end of the movie. But, like I said, minor stuff aside, it's a fun movie. It's not like Oscar fucking level film. It is a really
it's fun
popcorn movie.
This is just basically a remake of Aliens, in a way.
It has similar aspects. Like I said, you have some stuff, not a lot of stuff, but some stuff.
I think it holds up really well for being
especially
11 years now.
10-year-old movie. It's or so.
Well, here's what I like about this movie, right? So it has that science fiction element of making you think at the end, like that this stuff is really possible.
Oh, that was great. It was a great twist.
And it embeds itself in the real world enough with just a little bit of science fiction level stuff. So so it's not like a total out there science fiction type of thing. Different type of story is what I mean, right? The soldiering, not so much the vehicle part, would obviously have their issues, but the actual soldiers seem to behave like actual soldiers.
Yes,
which
I thought they
makes
did
sense
a great
because
job with that.
A lot of these actors either have been in any type of shows before or were in fact former soldiers, so they physically move like soldiers and that sort of stuff, and then the directing.
Everybody looked right. Everybody looked right for their part. The only exception being maybe the captain with the goatee. You don't really. They grow beards to blend in that kind of environment. They don't do trimmed facial hair kind of stuff.
Right.
And
the director, this is my biggest. Jacob knows what's coming. My biggest complaints about movies, it's like decade by decade, the pacing gets worse and worse. It's like longer and longer for no reason. Right. The director did a great job with the pacing of this film. Like it wasn't too long. It didn't need to be any shorter. In fact, a couple of scenes here and there to explain a few more details. It had the 3 big arcs, basically. The arc where you go in and find out what's going on, then you calm down, then the arc where they escape, then you have the final arc where they solve the problem. And like 3 acts, I guess you would say. And
the final battle, the final confrontation thing.
Yeah.
It was like I said, my complaints are minor and they don't have anything to do with plot or anything really important to the movie aspect.
And I wish they had done sequels, but I'm glad they haven't. You know what I mean?
No, because they would have fucked them up in the modern era. This movie came out right before the modern era.
Yep.
Spirit of the age didn't get a hold of this one and fuck it up.
This came out right before Ghostbusters.
Brazilian copies.
Yep, like literally.
And was made.
I wonder if that's.
Before.
Do you think that's why they killed it?
What's that?
Because it was too masculine a movie.
No. So what happened with the production of this? So people get it is. This was a legendary movie, like Godzilla movies, legendary. Yep. And in 2016, even though 2014 Godzilla was successful, and there was another film they did that was successful, they were still trying to recoup all the initial costs of investment to Legendary, right? So Legendary basically had to drop this film. That's why Universal dropped it, right? So then it goes to Netflix picks it up. Then 2 or 3 years later, when it looks really good, so it, and they're like, wait a minute. Then Netflix was like, well, we could do a sequel or a TV show, but then we have to pay everyone for all these rights because 6 different studios had it before, and then it just disappeared,
which is unfortunate. I mean, the idea of it, Matt, is fun. The reality of it would have been a fucking horror show.
I would have loved the premise
of this horror show.
Of this actor playing this character with his team of guys. Maybe this guy, the team of soldiers from here, and going around solving scientific nightmares. I would have loved a show about that.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, there wasn't so the actors all did a good job. You don't necessarily know everybody's name. You don't really need to though, because I mean, you have kind of your main characters, then you have all the supporting cast kind of stuff. But everybody did a good job with their part. Like I said, we talked about Bruce Greenwood earlier. He did not phone his role in. He doesn't have a big part in the movie, but the part he plays very well. Stephen Root in the beginning of the movie, the scientist, does a great fucking job.
Many of the actors in this liked this film and enjoyed filming it and working together. When they talked to them years ago. And then for those,
that's a good thing.
There's 2 shows I'll recommend. The lead actor here, if I keep forgetting his name, if you have never seen that single season of Rubicon, you should see it. And the actor who played the main soldier, he was in the unit. The first 2 seasons are great, 3 and 4 okay. But again, like I said, did this so again, we know these actors from so many different places. They did all the good stuff, and
Yeah, I don't like I said, my complaints about this movie are minor, but my compliments to this movie are pretty extensive.
Yeah.
Like I said, we talk about being a pretty straight, it's a straightforward type plot. The twist at the end I thought was brilliant. But the military action is very good. The costumes are fantastic as far as they actually get shit right as far as military gear, and the military tactics are also very well done. The fucking sets, the destroyed fucking city stuff, all looks really good. Those big fucking vehicles they got from the Czechs, those are cool, man. They did a nice job. Well, this movie is a nice blending of a lot of practical effects and the cool spectral stuff. Because it does, for me, I think it looks good. It doesn't come off as hokey. Especially, we're 10 years removed from this, and this shit looks better than stuff they're doing now by a long shot.
Exactly.
And this was a low budget fucking film, man.
Yeah, this was a $70 million film.
Yeah.
So I like I said, I was very pleasantly surprised by this, and you enjoy a movie, you can sit down and just go, "Fuck, that was cool." You don't have to think a whole lot and just let it go. And then that twist at the end. The twist at the end was good. It was very unexpected because you just expected as soon as, Doc Klein pulls the big switch, the lights go out, the fucking critters are gone. But then that follow-up with the fucking the nervous system suspended part is fucking terrifying. That's good science fiction there. That's quality stuff.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
No, they were spectral boobs, Adam. So they were not real boobs. Although they would kill you if you touched them. Almost like if you touched a feminist. But bump. Here all week, folks. This is come on, that wasn't great. It wasn't my best, but it was pretty good. So that was it. That was the movie. And like I said, I was really surprised. I was pleasantly surprised. Matt and Jacob, thanks for pushing this one. I'm glad we got to watch it.
Yeah.
And again, first time view. And if you haven't seen this movie, despite everything we just fucking talked about, it's not the same as actually watching the movie. So, and you're going to get a lot of fucking spoilers if you're watching one of my streams. That's kind of the thing, because we discuss a movie in full. You're not getting a half-ass version of this. So, on that note, we'll go around the horn and talk about what we have coming up. Over here on the channel next Thursday at 5 Pacific Standard, as we always are and have been for the last 3 years, we are going to be doing a follow-up to our movies about music with the B-roll stage folks. Adam and Barb are going to be back with us, and we're going to be talking about movies about music, not fucking musicals, but movies about music. And if you watch the last one, go back and watch part 1. It's on the channel, and it's a fun discussion. And we decided, we could have actually talked about this shit for like 4 fucking hours. So we're going to do a part 2 next Thursday.
So Music Man is not allowed?
What's that?
So Music Man not allowed?
Music Man is not allowed. Still, no music.
Did
man.
you talk about the apple?
The what?
The apple? Was that one of the ones?
Thank you, Jacob. I am not familiar with that, Blair.
Oh,
I am not familiar with that.
You have to see
I am
it.
unfamiliar with this apple.
It is it's wild.
It's a treat.
Cocaine still wrote movies.
I'm feeling uncomfortable already. So Shieldwall, my good friend, what do you have coming up next week?
All right. Well, hey, thanks for having me on. This is a good movie. Like we said, set's great. story was pretty good. I liked the ending. Overall, it was enjoyable. And I'm not sorry that I saw it, unlike some other movies that we've got.
Fucking Wolfen. I know.
No,
Wolfen.
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 I was with you on Wolfen. I remember it being good when I was a kid.
So much better.
Yeah.
So much better.
Anyway, so I will be on the show next week, when we're talking about music movies that we like, and I'll also be on next Tuesday, Jacob Ironside show, which I don't know what we're going to be doing on that one, but we'll be doing something, so it'll be fun. So make sure you head over there, and thanks to the chat for being here. Lots of good interaction.
Yes. Joker voice.
Yes.
My good friend. What do you have coming up, pal?
Well, this Saturday is one of my favorite WWE events, Money in the Bank. About 7 p.m. Pacific-ish time, we're going to do a live recap and review of the event with myself and friend of the channel, Left Eye Ego. So that'll be
Love Ego.
It'll be a lot of fun. You can also check Wednesday. For Wednesday night is Overbooked, the wonderful show logo here done by our wonderful Jacob Ironside as well. It's a weekly recap about stories in and around the world of professional wrestling. So definitely, if you want to learn about professional wrestling as well, we have all areas of it, viewing experience. Ego's kind of our noob. Matt and I are like the seasoned vets who have watched this stuff for decades. So please stop on by. It's a lot of fun.
Right on. Jacob Ironside. Thank you for the memes tonight, sir. What do you have coming up, bud?
Well, I'm kind of revisiting some movies I started my channel with that need to be gone over again. So we'll be doing the movie The Big Country, 1958, I believe. Gregory Peck, good movie. Really good movie.
Big Western.
Right
It's
on.
like my top two movies are 12 Angry Men and The Big Country. They're my
Wow.
two top favorites.
Oh, okay. So it's up there then. All right. I don't think I've ever
Yeah.
seen it. But
And
what
I
are you gonna do?
I will be here next week.
My eyes. Blair de Blair, again, welcome back, my friend. It's good to have you with us. What do you have coming up, pal?
Next Monday on the Plot Strike Back channel, Nick has us discussing the 13th Warrior or the Masculine Monday.
Yeah, that's a good movie.
Yes.
We got to
Yes.
get him over here for a something in the not too distant future. He does good work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's
the
awesome.
Monday shows are really cool. And then I'll be back here next Thursday.
Right on. Semi three-peat. What do you have coming up, my son?
I'm not falling asleep.
Well, I'm awake.
No. I was just I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. There's a couple people that I actually want to show it to. Otherwise, later tonight I have my new show on Darnell's Rumble. Two sieves and a pig. And other than that, just catch me on the weekends for Cavecast and in other news.
What's your cave cast this weekend?
Oh, Tim Drake.
Oh, Timmy.
Tim.
Not as fun as Jason, but okay, it's fine.
Yeah, we actually cut Jason. We'll probably cut this one in half too, because I can only go for a solid hour. We have a celebration of life. I don't know why they can't call it a funeral.
Yeah. Matt, the man who knows all the things about all the things. What do you have coming up, buddy? And again, I'm glad you're back with us, dude.
Yes, let's wish for another week of no hospital. And a better start to my 52nd year than I had to my 51st year.
And happy birthday. Happy
Yeah.
birthday, buddy.
Thank you, everyone.
I got to put this on my calendar now because I don't have you on my phone.
Let's see.
I'll
So
get there right now, in fact.
next Wednesday, Wednesday is overbooked. We'll talk about the results of Money in the Bank. After SmackDown, because technically I might add another match to it. Technically, they probably won't. So I'll probably try to drop a small, like Money in the Bank picks video, like 5-10 minutes, nothing big, just to drop my four or five picks for it. Maybe early Saturday or late Friday. Next week we got Roman's channel for whatever Roman's topic is going to be.
Musicals.
Not musicals. Not
The
musicals.
the sound of music.
No!
Seven Brothers.
Little Shop of Horrors. Little Shop of
Yeah.
Wizard of
Oklahoma,
Oz.
West Side Story.
West Side Story.
We can all sit there.
About music.
Yeah.
It's
Your
not.
favorite rich
When you're a
man.
jet, you're a jet.
I'd be the bitty bum.
All right.
Oklahoma.
Was that the
Bird
Hills
Working on the
singing?
plane.
Oklahoma.
And this is why we don't do musicals, folks, because of this very reason.
No. You guys got to hear this story. So I was in high school, and my freshman year, they did a play of Oklahoma, right? And they made a mistake because it was all guys high school. For the next 4 years, everyone would say Oklahoma like, oh. Every time I come up in a class, like, well, what's all the name of all the time? Oh, it'll be like the Jesuits hated that play and banned it. They literally banned it.
Oh, I'm sure.
So, well, that's it, folks. That's it. Thank you to the panel. Thank you to the chat. A lot of fun tonight, as always. We very much appreciate you. So, again, next week, movies about music. And check out everybody's data over in the description of the show, and all their info is there, so you can go check out their channel, sub to their stuff, enjoy their content. So thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Appreciate it. So until next time, be kind.
Toodles.